Christian Horner. The name alone carries weight. A man who built an empire at Red Bull, who never missed a single race in 20 years, who turned an energy drink brand into a Formula One superpower. And now, he's gone, fired, released of all his duties, just like that. But here's where it gets interesting. Because Christian Horner isn't done with Formula One, not even close. And if the latest whispers are true, he's about to make the most shocking comeback since Michael Schumacher returned in silver. Let's rewind. For the first time since 2005, Christian Horner isn't leading a team on the F1 grid. The paddock was stunned when Red Bull parted ways with their longtime team boss, the same man who steered them to 6 Constructors' Championships and 8 Drivers' titles. Most recently, he was the architect behind Max Verstappen's historic dominance. So what happened? Officially, nobody's talking. Unofficially, there were power struggles, tensions with Helmut Marko, rumblings involving the Verstappen camp, whispers of politics behind the scenes. Some say it started just after Red Bull's near-perfect 2023 season, where they won 21 out of 22 races. Something cracked, something personal, and now Horner's out. A man with a fresh contract supposedly running until 2030 is suddenly jobless, but not free. He's likely under gardening leave. The usual F. One way of keeping intellectual property locked away until it loses its sting. After all, Horner knows every corner of Red Bull powertrains, every future plan, every secret. So, what does he do now? Retire? Disappear into the shadows? Spend time with family? That's one version. But there's another story taking shape. A revenge arc. One where Horner doesn't just walk away, but walks straight into Red Bull's rivals. 2 names keep popping up: Ferrari and Alpine. Ferrari made moves. Back in May, Italian media claimed they approached Horner to replace Frederic Vasseur, but Horner laughed it off. "My Italian is worse than Flavio Briatore's English," he joked in Barcelona. How on earth would that work? He dismissed the speculation again in Montreal. "I'm not going anywhere. I'm fully committed to Red Bull," he told Dutch outlet De Telegraaf. "It's always flattering to be associated with other teams, but my heart is with Red Bull." That was then. Now, with Red Bull turning its back on him, the Ferrari door might reopen. Chairman John Elkann is a long-time admirer, and with Vasseur under pressure, the Scuderia might still be lurking. But there's a problem: Italy. Horner is a family man. Uprooting his children? Unlikely. It's the same reason Adrian Newey, another Red Bull mastermind, rejected Maranello. So that leaves Alpine. And here's where things get wild, because Alpine isn't just looking for a team principal, they're desperate for one. Ever since Oliver Oakes resigned after Miami, they've been flailing. Flavio Briatore, yes, that Briatore, is currently running the show behind the curtain. Steve Nielsen was just brought in as managing director. But guess what? Nielsen has never led a Formula One team before. Now imagine this: Christian Horner, the man who turned Jaguar's remains into Red Bull's dynasty, brought in to rescue the Enstone-based Alpine. Located in the heart of Motorsport Valley, just a drive from Horner's home. No relocation, no disruption to family life. And here's the real kicker: Horner and Briatore, old friends. Could he end up at Alpine? Karun Chandok asked on Sky Sports. Christian's old friend Flavio Briatore is in charge as an executive consultant. That could be a future destination. It all lines up. Alpine gets a legendary leader, Horner gets a new mission, and Red Bull gets to watch the man they cast aside come back to beat them. Even Ralf Schumacher chimed in. "Briatore is looking for a good new team boss," he said. "The Renault-owned team might be prepared to give Horner a share of the outfit. That's what he's always wanted. A share, control, power, revenge." Think about it. What better way for Horner to strike back than to rebuild a wounded Alpine and drag them into a fight with Red Bull? What better theatre for F1's next great drama? But here's the question: would Alpine dare? And more importantly, would Horner? Let's be honest, Christian Horner doesn't strike you as the kind of man who walks away quietly. This is the same person who once stared down Ferrari and Mercedes, who never skipped a single Grand Prix in 2 decades, who led 2 eras of Red Bull domination. So no, this isn't the end, it's just the setup. But it won't be instant. F1 politics demand patience. Horner will almost certainly serve a lengthy gardening leave. And it won't just be a vacation, this is tactical exile. Red Bull knows he holds all their secrets. Technical roadmaps, 2026 engine specs, staff contracts, the whole vault. So they'll bench him, cool him down. Except, you can't cool Christian Horner. Not really. The way insiders see it, this next chapter is already writing itself, and it's happening in the shadows of Enstone. Alpine, Renault's struggling F1 team, has been in freefall. Ever since the departure of Otmar Schaffnauer last year, the team's lacked leadership. Flavio Briatore, once exiled himself, has returned as executive consultant. A man infamous for scandal and boldness, now trying to resuscitate a team once called Benetton, once a champion. And guess who he's been linked to? Christian Horner. They're old allies. Briatore and Horner go back decades, from the paddock days where politics were played face to face, not just on social media. Briatore has the influence. Horner has the resume. Alpine has the need. It's the perfect triangle. Even with Steve Nielsen set to take over day-to-day operations in September, there's a gap, a leadership vacuum. Nielsen has experience, but not at the top. He's no team principal. He's not the man to turn around a crisis. But Horner, he's done it before. Remember Jaguar? A failed F1 outfit going nowhere until Horner, fresh from running his own junior team, took charge. Within 5 years that team became world champions. Now Alpine sits in eerily familiar territory. Midfield mediocrity, fractured leadership, desperate for direction. So what if Horner repeats history? The whispers are already louder than ever. That could be a future destination for Christian Horner, said Chandok. Ralf Schumacher echoed the sentiment. Renault might offer him a share in the team. That's what he's always wanted. A stake, ownership, say in the direction. For a man who just lost his empire, this isn't just about getting back in the game. It's about building something new, from scratch, his way. And if you think Red Bull isn't watching this carefully, think again. Because if Horner lands at Alpine, the narrative flips. Suddenly, Red Bull's architect is building a rival fortress. Suddenly, he's not just a threat. He's the ultimate test of whether Red Bull's success was truly about the car, the driver, or the man pulling the strings behind it all. Don't forget the backdrop. Ferrari still lingers in this story like a red ghost. Chairman John Elkann is rumoured to have courted Horner multiple times. Vasseur, the current team principal, remains under pressure. And now that Horner is technically available, could Elkann make another move? Possibly. But logistics are tricky. Commuting to Maranello, the language, the politics, it's not simple. Ferrari is a dream, but it's also a minefield, and Horner knows it. So what's left? Wait, plan, strike. Horner's next move may take months, but make no mistake, he's thinking 3 steps ahead. This is chess. Red Bull made their move. Now, it's his turn. And if he does return with Alpine, if he rebuilds them, if he makes them competitive again, well, that's more than a comeback. That's revenge. The kind that's played out on Sundays, under floodlights, across continents. The kind that lives forever in the minds of F1 fans. Because when Alpine lines up against Red Bull in 2026, powered by a new engine, with Horner on the pit wall, who will you be rooting for? Horner says he's not going anywhere. He might have meant Red Bull at the time. But maybe what he really meant was this. I'm not going anywhere, from Formula 1. And if that's true, the paddock better buckle up. Because Christian Horner might just be getting started. So we ask you, if you were Alpine, would you take the gamble? And if you were Red Bull, are you feeling nervous yet? Let us know in the comments.